Alright, so it has been a long time since I did this segment, and this one's actually going to be a retool of one I had to take down, so yeah. For those that don't know, this is Legends of Evil, where I talk about villains from cartoons, anime, manga, TV shows, and movies, as well as video games. Everything outside of comics, more or less. And today I'm going to be spotlighting probably one of the most memorable Dragon Ball Z villains, if not one of the most popular anime villains of all time, Freiza. Now, Freiza is a very interesting character in the Dragon Ball Z universe, because when you think about it, he's the reason 80% of what happened in Dragon Ball happened. He's the reason why most of the stuff you see is caused by him. Hell, even Goku going Super Saiyan was was made possible by him. Yeah. So, let's talk a bit about Freiza. Now, Freiza, for all we know, we don't really know much of Freiza's race, but what we have seen of them is Freiza, his father Cold, and in the movies, his brother Cooler. So I guess his mom would be Ice, or his sister would be Chill, or some, I don't know. Hell, we'll probably see, we may see Frieza's mom, and if he has a sister, that too, in the new Dragon Ball Z series coming this summer. Anyway, so Freiza is the ruler of he's more or less a planetary conqueror, and he has a huge army behind them. One such army was the Saiyans, who he literally got tired of. He got real tired of King Vegeta's shit, and just like, okay, bye, and he proceeded with just one finger, blew up the planet, including not only killing Vegeta's father, King Vegeta, and they're blowing up their planet Vegeta. Yeah, I know, it's to quote everybody from the from the Bardock movie, Lord from the abridged version of the Bardock movie, Vegeta is in danger. The planet, my son, or me. Yes. Yeah. But also, Goku's father was quote-unquote killed during the explosion of the planet. Although in the new Dragon Ball Z series, apparently he's alive in the past and is a Super Saiyan, and apparently he's going to be in the new Dragon Ball Z. It's confusing. It's confusing. Anyway, where was I going with this? Anyway, so yeah, while much of Frieza's race is unknown, what we do know is that these guys are inherently powerful. As Freiza once said, our powers are inborn. My people's powers are inborn. We don't really need to train. Of course, this changes in the new movie, Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, which I have not seen, but I just happen to pick up certain plot points, and I'm going to wait to see it theatrically in the theater, rather than watch the subbed version, which I hear is really good. Now, Freiza, like I said, Freiza didn't need to train, and he has several forms. His first form is this diminutive little figure who rides around in a floating hover-round. And he's powerful in and of himself. He may look small and, insignificant, but in that form, he was still able to strike fear in many of his many of his soldiers' hearts. From there, we got the second form, which is a taller version of the first form, and that form I'm getting tongue-tied here. And from that form, his powers increased further, to the point where he more or less beat the shit out of Krillin. Remember when he just impaled him on the horn and just danced him along? Yeah. And however, that form was beaten when Piccolo, who had fused with Nail, managed to defeat that form, but Frieza's got another form, which, yeah, it looks like a xenomorph. Let's not beat around the bush here, guys. It's a rip-off of a xenomorph. And from there, that form, he managed to beat the shit out of Piccolo, and then finally, because everyone was getting tired of the third form, he went to his fourth and final form. And that form is his most powerful state, which we saw him beat the ever-loving crap out of everybody. Even when Goku came back fully powered, he had to go Super Saiyan to finally defeat him, and that's not really his full form yet. Freiza also has 100% final form, which Goku, still as Super Saiyan, managed to defeat. However, when Namek was dying in the final Namek was dying during their battle, and Frieza made an oopsie and got himself cut to pieces during the fight, and Goku gave him, out of the kindness of his heart, some of his energy to allow him to survive, and hopefully Frieza would turn a new leaf. Nah, that didn't happen, and Frieza tried to kill him again, and yeah, Frieza got the boot. Or so we thought. Turns out, Frieza's father, King Cold, came back, found the remains of his son, and turned him into some Mecha Cooler, or Cyber Cooler, whatever floats your boat. However, that didn't last long when Trunks showed up and killed both him and his father. But you just can't keep this little bastard down. Seriously, Frieza's like a cockroach. He comes back more than a cockroach, or, hell, most of the villains in the DC universe. Or you could say Marvel universe, or comic books and villains in general. But yeah. Frieza then went on to stay dead for a while, but he came back in another freak accident when all of hell opened up, but Gohan more or less took care of him from there. But I believe that was in the Fusion Reborn film. And then, if you want to go by GT, because GT's no longer, according to everyone at Toei, Dragon Ball GT is no longer in canon. Apparently, it's no longer in canon. But yeah, he teamed up with Cell to try to take over Hell, but Goku beat them both in that time. So, Frieza stayed dead for a while, but in this new continuity, Frieza's back and now has a new form called Golden Frieza, which I'm still warming up to, guys. It's not terrible, but I'm just like, he looks like a Emmy with purple trim to him. He looks like something like you would give an award to. He's like a giant golden statue. I mean, yeah, I know the name is Golden Frieza, but yeah. And it's cool how he got that form. More or less, like I said, Frieza said that his people have that inborn power, and he never really had to train in his life. But through training, Frieza finally got a new form. Just like his brother, Cooler, did, but I guess you could say this is the 6th form? So, yeah. Honestly, Frieza's probably my favorite villain in the Dragon Ball Z universe, and I find it great. I find it really cool that, or interesting, that's the better word. I find it always interesting that whenever someone brings up Dragon Ball Z villains, people usually get excited the most when Frieza shows up. I guess maybe because he was the first big bad of the first really big bad. I mean, yeah, you had Vegeta and Nappa in the Saiyan saga, but really, everyone, the real major evil in the Dragon Ball Z universe before Cell or Majin Buu or any of the movie villains, you had Frieza. You know, you had Frieza, who was this just world-destroying, I want to become immortal, and everyone who gets my way gets their planet blown up kind of character. And I always look at, and now, I'm not as big a Dragon Ball Z fan as I used to be when I was a kid. I kind of dropped off the map, but I always sometimes go back just to look back on Dragon Ball Z now and again, and I am really interested to see Resurrection F, because obviously, like I said, Frieza's my favorite Dragon Ball Z villain. But yeah, it's going to be rather interesting to see what that movie is going to be like, because apparently someone told me Frieza does something so horrible that you're just like, oh my god, really excited to see what that's about. But yeah, Frieza's always a character. I think people, even the writer, even the people behind Dragon Ball Z are like, yeah, let's go back to Frieza. It always seems like one way or another, they find a way to go back to Frieza and make it interesting or add something to it. Granted, Frieza doesn't last long in some of these stories, but what can you do? Anyway, so, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I want to thank everybody for watching this, and you guys tell me, what do you guys think of Frieza as a character? Do you guys like him? Do you guys hate him? Really curious to see what you guys have to say about this character, because Frieza, like I said, a lot of people, on a general consensus, are like, yeah, Frieza's, yeah, there are a lot of people who like Majin Buu, there are people who like, a lot of people who like Cell or Android 17, and you know, other Dragon Ball Z villains, but the general consensus is like, oh, is like when you talk about Frieza, everyone's like, oh yeah, Frieza's cool, or in other cases, Cooler is, well, cooler. His brother is cooler. Dun dun dun. That's my rim shot. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this this little spotlight in Legends of Evil, and I will see you guys later.